so so get this, Mac. It's so funny though because he turns himself into pickle. It's like the funniest joke on earth. Do you get it though?
Yeah, it was a for like 1 second, I guess.
No, no, you don't understand. He was like a human, but then he turned into a pickle. It's the funniest shit I've ever seen.
Yeah, but like it wasn't that funny. Like it was funny, but
Well,
it was only funny because it's because it's not that funny. But it was funny for Rick,
well,
and that's what makes it funny.
obviously you've never watched the Pickle Rick. It's highbrow humor, I guess.
I've watched Pickle Rick. It's in fact they're part of the crew that I'm part of, so of course I know Pickle Rick.
And you call yourself a comedian. I'm starting to question things.
What's
Anyway, guys.
that?
Anyway, guys, welcome to the Limelight Podcast, episode 14. I have this wonderful guest here, Mech Enzy.
Hello, everybody.
It's so good to have you on. Welcome on in.
Thank you. I like talking about myself, so this is gonna be perfect.
It's gonna be like a 6-hour recording. It's like the whole Mackenzie lore, but like super stretched out. Actually, is
It's
there?
just me talking about what I like to eat.
Do you like those little what is it? Those fried oyster things? What are they called? Um no, they're not fried oysters. They're something else. Oh, fried
I've
zucchinis. Like
never
fried.
had oysters.
Oh, oysters suck. Like regular oysters suck because they're slimy. I don't like the texture.
But
Oh
don't
no,
people eat them raw like all the time?
yeah, that's like well, you take it like you're supposed to put Tabasco on it if you want it to be spicy, and you like just like tilt it in your mouth and just drink like the sludge or the slime in it. That's
It
like
always looked dirty to me.
for me, it's like you know what's weird though? Like there's actually one thing I can't eat, and it's oh my god, what is it called? Melon. Like I can't eat any kind of melon because the texture screws with my mouth.
Really? So like watermelon, honeydew, or cantaloupe?
Yeah, so like literally, for some reason it messes with my mouth. So like if I eat it, I like start like not even the taste, but just the texture itself makes me so sick. I like spit it out or I like start gagging. It's like
Ah,
very weird.
I love melon.
I know, and I'm like the weird
I'll
one out.
I'll get a whole watermelon.
Mhm.
And when I was living with my family, um, like I wouldn't share it. I was like, nah, this whole melon, this mine.
This
You
mine.
buy your own.
I
One melon, one person.
do you do that thing like where you tap the melons to see if they're like pure or whatnot?
I try to like pat them. I
Mhm.
think I think the trick is if you can hear like a little bit of a hollow
Mhm.
sound, then it's good.
See, like, and the thing is, like I said, I don't eat watermelon, so I literally like when they have those big things in the store, like I always see people like putting their whole ear to it and like tapping it, or like tap like I swear to God, they'll tap like 20 of them until they find like the perfect one. I'm like, it's a melon. Shouldn't a melon just be a melon? I
Well,
mean,
I mean, it might be not ripe. I guess unripe ones are like harder.
mhm.
Like the more hard it is on the outside, it must be like some type of like ancient human secret. Like I can imagine cavemen doing the same exact thing. Just tapping a fruit and you're like, yeah, this is the one.
They're like, I can actually imagine a caveman like picking up a melon and eating it, and he like looks, he's like, "Oh, there's Greg. Greg doing something weird," and he like taps the melon like 2 times with his ear next to it, and then starts eating it. And they're like,
I think it's
"Oh,
just sort of natural. Like you wouldn't have to see another human do it.
mm-hmm."
Just be like I have to use my senses because I can't see the inside. And if I crack it open and it's not ripe, then I just fucked a melon that I could have eaten later.
Oh my gosh, I can actually picture that though. Just somebody just doing that for the first time, and they're like, "I'm a brilliant genius. I know the perfect melon if I tap it." All the signs align for the perfect melon. Now, I can actually have like watermelon based products though. Like if you give me like the Sour Patch Kids watermelon or something to drink that's like flavored with watermelon, I can drink that fine. But it's like the texture of a melon though. That's like the weirdest thing to me. I still
Well,
feel
usually
mhm.
watermelon flavored things aren't even like the real watermelon flavor. It's like grape flavor of candy.
Hmm.
Grape flavored candy don't taste like grapes. If you want to be technical, they should taste like raisin because
Hmm.
raisin is just concentrated grape.
It's like the same thing with strawberries. There is actually no scent to a strawberry, so we've basically made strawberry its own scent. Like we invented that.
Yeah, we have.
I think that is so weird. Like the thing is, it's like with like strawberries, you can taste them, but then like the taste differs from the smell. But then again, that could be like any kind of dish you make, though. Something could smell really good and taste like shit. To be fair.
Mhm.
Oh, actually, going on
One of
to
one of
that.
my
Go ahead.
sorry, I just had to say this.
No, you're
But
good.
one of my power fantasies
Mhm.
is like being able to buy pure watermelon juice on a
Mhm.
daily basis.
Oh, that sounds good. I could actually drink that.
Because watermelon juice is fucking delicious.
I
But
like.
I don't want to have to juice it myself.
Mhm.
And, I'm okay with eating the whole melon for the juice. You might as well be drinking a fruit.
Mhm.
But being able to just, like, buy it. Dude, watermelon juice by itself is fucking expensive
How much
for,
is it?
for absolutely no reason. It's so dumb.
How much is just like a thing of watermelon juice?
It's gotta be like $6.
Oh my god. No, no, not a
Like,
chance.
orange juice ain't even that expensive. And it's
No.
harder to get rid of the pulp in orange juice. And then that makes me think of like, what do they even do with like the the pulp of the watermelon? Where does that go? Do they just waste it?
I mean, like, I'm a man that loves his lemons, his limes, and all that, but I gotta admit though, my biggest weakness, pineapple juice. I love me some good pineapple juice. That shit bussin'.
I like pineapple juice. I like pineapple.
I got
Just
into
not
pi
on my pizza.
so, okay, so you are not a pineapple on pizza person.
Doesn't belong on pizza.
Oh, man, and I am pro pineapple on pizza. This
You can have your pineapple on pizza. I mean, like
Mm.
I'll have pineapple on the side with pizza, but I will not put it on my pizza.
Well, actually, my favorite pizza is, buffalo chicken. That shit's really good. It's, like, it's hard as hell to find it, but, like, when you can get a good place to make it, like a wood-fired pizza place, oh, it is so good. It is so, 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 so good.
Buffalo sauce is strangely a good like pizza sauce.
Oh, yeah, because it's just because it's, like, it doesn't make it like, when it's on chicken and stuff, it's a lot more spicier, but, like, when it's on pizza, it, like, bakes into, like, the dough and stuff, so it doesn't make it as, like, horrifically spicy as long as you don't, like, overdo it.
Oh yeah, I think it's mostly the vinegary part
Mhm.
that needs to be settled down.
Oh, yeah. That is true.
Yeah,
I
because
actually wanted
people
to
can eat like a super spicy pizza.
what is actually your dream pizza? Since I know your dream drink now, what is the dream pizza?
Well, well, the watermelon juice is more of like a just a fantasy
Oh,
of
okay.
just being financially stable. My favorite drink is actually ginger ale, but
Ooh.
like the good quality stuff, like Reed's,
So not like
like
Canadian
really
Dry?
spicy shit.
That's, like, the only one I know is, like, Canadian
Uh,
Dry.
nah, Canadian Dry is the baby. I used to mess up a lot, but then when I discovered like real quality ginger ale, I was like, oh man, I've been drinking like drink garbage. When you get real ginger ale, it's sort of like finding a really good quality root beer. It's
Mhm.
like that, except like twice as good for like when you discover it for the first time.
Nice.
My dream pizza?
Mhm.
Ah, I love mozzarella cheese. I actually really like Alfredo sauce on
Ooh.
pizza. The white sauce.
I've actually not done that. That actually sounds kind of fire.
It's delicious. I do love me some pepperoni.
Mhm.
I'm a basic pepperoni.
Do you do double pepperoni?
Maybe stuffed crust. Maybe
Mm,
stuffed, unless like, if the pizza's already cheesy, you don't need to stuff the crust. Um,
mhm.
Actually, maybe not stuffed crust, but the crust has to be like how Pizza Hut was
Oh, like before it
before
went to
they
shit?
fucking changed. They changed their shit, and
It's
I
so
think.
nasty now, I can't order it anymore.
Do you remember when Pizza Hut used to have like really light, puffy, crispy crust? Like it
Yes.
was like that all the time, all
They
the
had
time.
they had
There
remember
was
that.
no other pizza like it, and it
Mhm.
was like it was so like perfectly formulaic. And they
Remember when
got
they
rid
had,
of
like
it.
remember they had, like, the whole, like, different crust too, and they used to have, like you could literally choose your crust. They had, like, ginger boom boom and, like, pretzel and stuff like that, and you can, like they had, like, a whole, like, 8 or so different crusts you could choose from. You could even make it, like, a super flaky crust too. It was so
How many
good.
years ago was this?
That had to be, like, 5 years ago, maybe?
No, I'm talking like 15 years ago.
Oh, we're
Pizza
talking,
Hut.
like, when we were, like, kids, like, when we were,
Yeah,
like yeah.
that shit was bomb. I do
No,
like a
I remember
pretzel
that.
crust.
Yeah.
The only people that do that was like nowadays is Little Caesars when it's seasonal.
Oh, when it's
Um,
seasonal, I get it. I'm not
but
even
I would
lying.
love
Oh, so
I
good.
would love like a gourmet place to make
Oh,
a pretzel.
oh my god. See, that's what I was thinking about the other day too. Why the hell is there not more pretzel pizza? I was actually thinking about that literally the other day. I was like, I can get it at Little Caesars, but like everywhere else does not make a pretzel pizza, and I'm like, it's not too difficult. At least I wouldn't think so. I'd probably have to ask like someone who actually makes pizza like professionally, not like a
Yeah,
not like a Domino's person or anything. Not saying they're not professional, but like we're talking like the people who have to make it from scratch and stuff like that, like a binging with Babish kind of person.
I think pretzel bread. Like
Hmm.
yeah, it goes through a weird process where you kind of have to like boil it
Hmm.
and then like bake it. It's odd, but anyone who's good at like baking probably get it down pat. I think I think you're right. It's a lost opportunity because a lot of people like the pretzel pizza from like Little Caesars,
Do you
but
like
it's like
queso
oh, we're
pretzel?
only doing it for a limited time. And it's like what?
Yeah, I mean the
Or
reason
like
why I
when
like it too. Uh huh.
the pretzel bun came out again recently for Wendy's.
Hmm.
They're like, oh, it's only for a limited time. It's like fucking pretzel bread's not like that's the thing. They do it seasonally,
Hmm.
but it's not like pretzels go out of season because it's just bread. It's just fucking bread. So it's like just give us the choice.
I'm just I'm actually thinking of somebody just being like, it's like, well, it's pretzel season's over. We can't make no more pretzels. Sorry to say the pretzels out of season. You're gonna have to wait a few months for the pretzels to come back.
But
I'm just like,
we got sourdough. We got sourdough crust.
I fucking love sourdough. Like I don't like it as pizza crust, but as a sandwich, oh that shit slaps.
I just put it out there. I don't know. Maybe it is good as a pizza crust.
All right, so now we need to message somebody to make sourdough pizza. Now I'm genuinely curious. Actually, besides all that though, is there like any other food and stuff you like? Because I know you just did your Japan food review, or your Japan snack review. Was there
They
like
got
kind
some
of
weird ass snacks.
was there anything that stuck out to you in particular? Like one thing you were just like, what the fuck?
Um, they had these little crackers that fucking taste like fish,
Oh,
and I hated it.
I don't know if I could get into that. Oh my gosh, I'm just thinking about that right now too. Like just imagine being like, ooh, a cracker. Like you're thinking like a goldfish, or maybe it's sweet like a graham cracker. No, it just tastes like fucking fish. Like, ugh.
They looked like those like little pieces like of bread that you would put on a salad at like a
Mhm.
Denny's or something.
Mhm.
I don't know if it was like the quality of the cracker. Maybe it was like just going bad. Maybe they just suck at making crackers, or maybe maybe it is intentionally fish flavored because I know they like their fish stuff over there, but
There
it was just not. It was not No, not it. It is not it,
My
man.
friend is literally going to Japan. I told him he needs to try the squid ink ice cream when he's over there. It's apparently very popular, but I just don't understand how ink and ice cream go together, though. That's a little confusing.
I think it's just the coloring. It's like
That's mhm.
vanilla ice cream with like activated coconut charcoal. It's like, ooh,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
good.
Very true. Oh,
What else
actually,
did you want to know about me besides food?
food. No, this is the food podcast. This is you don't get to learn anything about Mackenzie today. We're just gonna learn about food and what Mackenzie thinks about food. Oh my
I like
gosh.
black coffee,
I like no coffee.
no coffee.
No coffee. No bitches? No coffee. No, actually, there's actually something I was gonna ask you. So tell me about your time recently because you just had this video go up at the time of this recording of your wrecking crew feature. What is about the
Uh,
wrecking crew? Can you talk to me a little bit about that?
the Wrecking Crew.
Yes.
Wrecking Crew is we're a Twitch team, focused around charity,
Mhm.
and we got a lot of lovely content creators there. There's a lot of talent. There's a lot of talent, a lot of good, well-minded people in that crew.
When you got into
Um,
that was there like one VTuber in particular that got you interested in the wrecking crew, or is it kind of like, oh, I like everyone, I kind of want to join up now, or like how was it that you kind of got into it?
so I was part of the first wave of um new members
Mhm.
that got in. I was actually when Pappy made the crew and they were taking uh applications for the first time.
Mhm.
When applications were gonna go out, I was actually DM'd by Pappy saying, like, I hope I see your application tomorrow. And then when they were getting accepted, he was just straight up like, okay, you're like you're the first one.
That's
I
awesome.
I felt so honored because
Mhm.
um he sifted through those applications just to find me. I was literally the first pick, the very first pick of new people to come in.
I like that. I like hearing that. That's like a feel good. That's like a feels good, man.
Yeah, I love Pappy. He's one of the VTubers I got because I like him.
I actually
I
messaged
saw his
mhm.
I saw one of his it was his like his trailer for his channel. I saw it on
Mhm.
Twitter for the first time, and I was like, who is this? And it was his design was very different,
Mhm.
very not your standard typical anime styled VTuber, and I connected with that obviously. I was like,
Mhm.
wow, I like this guy is really cool. And then when we announced the Wrecking Crew, I saw Barry the Bugbear and Johnny Jellyjaw.
I see him a
And
lot pop up. Mhm.
I remember those two from when I first started in the NVTubers Discord server. I saw their little introduction things from like what was it? 2 years ago? What was 2 years ago? 2020? Yeah.
Yeah, 2020. And
And I
then
was
you
like,
s
when I first saw Johnny,
Mhm.
uh, and I saw like their model and how it was animated.
Mm.
I'm pretty sure he doesn't use live 2D, but I just loved the animation. I was like, oh my god, he's so like toony and like country slime. That is such a good concept. I saw Barry the Bugbear. I'm like, oh shit, like a D&D tuber. Like that's fucking amazing. And that's part of why I wanted to join the Wrecking Crew too. I was like, wow, like I know those people. Like I knew they would do good. I knew they would do good.
Oh,
I
that's
I have an
awesome.
eye. I have an eye for talent. Let me tell you. I knew they were gonna do good.
Mhm.
And yeah, that's one of the reasons why I wanted to join because there's so many cool people there. And
Now
I was like, I want to prove my worth. I want to be cool.
when you got into VTubing, was it were you like a 2020 like streamer or did you start like a little later? It's like a lot of
Um,
people I know like in
slightly
2020 did.
a little later. I
Uh-huh.
was slightly a little later. Let's see, 2020.
Because it's like there's this thing
2020.
like if you look like a lot of streamers started in like 2020, some from the
Yeah,
pandemic, and then some just in general. VTubing got
it was
popular
November.
around that time.
November 2020 was when the whole VTuber uprising
Mhm,
started, and people are like, "Oh yeah, just like be a VTuber,
mhm.
basically,
Yeah.
just be one." And um, I was sort of blissfully unaware until like 2021,
Mhm.
like the beginning of 2021. I was sort of like oblivious to the first 3 months of it. Um,
Mhm.
I mean I tell the story a lot how I
Okay.
first started out.
Mhm.
So my pal Mr. Jest.
Yes.
He lived with me for a very long time, and then he moved out to Vegas, and now lo and behold, I'm living with him.
Lo and
Um,
behold, later.
yeah, no relationship. We're just friends. We're just friends.
Mhm,
Um, he came out to visit me, uh, one weekend when I still lived in Cali, and this
mm,
was 2020. Yeah, 2020,
mhm,
around I want to say in the middle of, and
mm,
this was like right around this time of year.
mhm,
Well, actually, no, last month. So around maybe August 2020.
mhm,
Um, he was posting a bunch of VTubers out of context in our Facebook group chat, and I was getting annoyed with it. I was like, "Why the fuck do you post these things, dude?"
mhm.
And he's like, "Cause they're funny." And I'm like, "Whatever." And I just sort of clicked on one of them, and I was like, "This is stupid." But I was watching. I think it was like Gargura, and then like the next one was Corone,
Mhm,
and I was looking at their avatars, and I've always wanted to get into animation.
mhm,
That's been like my pipe dream job, or sorry, my dream job. My pipe dream job was content creator. We'll get into
mhm,
that later. And I was looking at their avatars. I was like, this is really cool. The fact that they can, you know, track their face and it translates into the image. And I wonder how much it costs to actually achieve something like this.
mhm,
And he interjected and he said, well, according to like a podcast, Cox and Crendor, it's apparently very expensive. And I wanted to know, like, is it really expensive? So that was sort of my like challenge accepted moment. And I did my research. I was like, what's Live 2D? And I looked up Live 2D and I saw some people sort of giving tutorials on YouTube, which were shit back then, by the way. They were awful tutorials. People have it good these days. They have good tutorials.
mhm,
I was in the shit, but to I was determined to make something. And at the time, I was trying to decide like what would I make into a VTuber mom.
mhm.
And Mackenzie um is one of my D&D characters. Mackenzie is actually a D&D character that I played as.
I
And I
actually
just
didn't know
really
that.
like the concept. I yeah, it's you look at Mackenzie, you're like, that's a cartoon. How is that a D&D character?
Yeah,
It's like, don't worry about it. A D&D character can look like whatever the fuck.
exactly.
Um, and I looked at that, I just really liked playing as a character. I was like, you know what? I don't really like the design of this,
Mhm,
and I'm gonna try to animate it. I'm gonna try to make it into a live 2D model. I smashed my head against the keyboard for 7 days. I was like super hyper focused on trying to learn. And again, tutorials back in the day sucked ass. But I was able to get her moving. I was like, holy shit, like I sort of did it. It's not as good as the Hololive ones, but
mhm,
I managed to get it work. It was working. And that's all that matters. And I showed Mr. Jess and I was like, look. And he's like, oh wow, that's kind of cool. And that was about it. That was September 7th. when I actually got it done.
I
And then I
mhm,
kind of wanted to make another one. I mean, like maybe I can be better at this model making thing. So I gave it another try. Made the second one around October, and in the NVTubers Discord,
mhm,
which I hate now, by the way. Um, one person that was sort of starting their content creation career
mhm,
as a VTuber, um, they put out a Photoshop document of like a chibi version of themselves. And they said, does anyone want to take a crack at trying to rig this? And of course, it costs money to have someone rig something for you. But at the time, I was, putting my feet in the water, and I was
mhm,
like, you know what, I need practice. And I said, I'll give it a shot. And
mhm,
I tried my best at rigging it. And they're like, hey, you're really good. You should consider taking commissions. I was like, okay, I'll give it a try. You know, I'll be fair with my prices because I'm a beginner.
mhm,
Um, and then after two commissions, I was like, you know what? Maybe I can make a career out of this. Maybe I won't be a streamer, but I do like making these models. It is, animation in a sense, and that's always been my dream job.
mhm.
And I looked back at Mech Enzy 1.0. I was like, you know what? I can probably do this better. I can probably make it a full body model. And around February, uh, Mackenzie 2.0 is made.
Hell yeah.
And that's when I sort of like thought of, you know what, maybe I'll stream with this. Because it'd be a shame if all my work, went down the shitter. And
And
I was like, you know what, I'm
mhm,
not gonna, I don't even think I'll become successful. But if I can get like 10 people watching me at the time, I can
mhm.
tell Mr. Jest that I did the VTubing thing and it wasn't expensive.
And I
Because
mean that's coming from me too, because like everything I have was basically commissioned. Like my I think except for probably the icon you're looking at, that was a gift from a friend, but like my PNG, my overlays, like every single piece of streaming stuff I have was basically out of pocket. And so I know exactly what you mean by like how expensive this shit gets. Because I
oh
even have
yeah.
because I actually have a live 2D model as well, and that one was roughly in the ballpark of like $80, and same thing with my first one. So like paying $80 for a model is still really really high. It's worth it every single dime,
Sheesh.
but
$80?
$80, yeah, for
You're
my
gonna
for
have to
both
let
of
me
them.
see it sometime because like
Mhm.
$80 for a model is, depending on, the
And
quality, is an extremely good price.
actually after this interview, I can probably get the files and stuff, and I can see if I can load it up for you. I think I still have
Yeah,
it
I
on
love that.
my face rig. Because, like, the thing is, like, now if you watch my streams or peek at it, it's, like, all PNG because, like, I would get so frustrated trying to use them sometimes because it's, like, I'd set up my webcam, but then it's, like, "Oh, it's not bright enough in my room," so then I turn my lights on, and then sometimes my mouth wouldn't stop moving because, like, it'd be glitchy and, like, going up and down, like, it wouldn't stop moving, and that'd get really frustrating.
Yeah,
Um
lighting is very important.
So, like, I would love in the future to definitely go to either get another Live 2D model or have, like, an extra, but I just understand, like, how frustrating it can be, like, from the person who doesn't, like, make art, like, how expensive and frustrating it would get to be, like, a VTuber, like, to be starting into VTubing anyway.
Oh yeah. It is a blessing to
Mhm,
be a VTuber that can make their own stuff. The am-
and
I can
mhm,
I the amount of money I probably saved is ridiculous.
and that's what I was thinking too, because 'cause I've talked about this with, other people as well, like, I've said, like, the VTubers that can do their own art and stuff like that, those people flourish so well. Like, those are the people you see, like, just skyrocket up because, like,
Hmm.
it's like, "Oh, I'm gonna be playing, um, Valorant today." Like, I would if I wanted to kinda show off Lime dressed up as one of the characters, I would have to commission that, and that could be, like, $40 for just a decent picture, and if I wanted just something super basic, it's still, like, above $20, like, and imagine doing that for different games and different settings and different this and that, like the cost would just keep adding up. Like there's a lot of stuff
Mhm.
I need, but I'm not gonna I'm not gonna get all that cheap. So that's where I was like, if you can make your own art and make your own models and stuff, you are like set in this industry. It is such a gift.
Yeah, prices can
Mhm.
be scary. It's really something that it can destroy a streamer. Like I've seen it before where like
Mhm.
someone says like, "Oh, I spent like $2,000 on someone to rig my model, and now I'm gonna start streaming. It's my debut." And then like the next week, they're like, "I gotta sell my model because I'm bankrupt." And I'm like, "Why did you do that?
Why would you
You
go so
fool!"
like even like 80 for me wasn't terrible. Like that's why I was like, hey, for 80, I'll take the risk. And it was worth it because I've bloomed since then. Like I've done well. But like I have seen
Yeah.
some people go head first where they're like, all right, I'm gonna spend $300 on a model. They stream for like a month or so or off and on, and then they completely just stop and they try to sell their character or they just completely jump off everything.
Yeah,
And they
they'll say like, "Man, I wasted my money. This wasn't worth it." And I'm just like, "Well, it's because you went into it thinking that you're just gonna get ultra famous without any backing. Like,
exactly.
you're not a corporate VTuber. Corporate VTubers, like, when they announce someone new on their team, people are people are gonna go to the debut, and there's little risk for the viewer because you know any VTuber in that corporation, you're pretty much almost promised the same level of quality as the other people in that corporation. And they have like the corporation to also support them as well, like whenever they need assets and such. For an indie VTuber, like you run a risk as an indie because you have no backing. And the viewer runs a risk because they don't know whether or not to invest in you yet. So any indie VTubers out there, you got to start out doing this for fun first and foremost.
Oh
You
yes.
cannot like unless for some reason your model just hits perfectly and you get like a mountain of simps in the first day. Good for you. But that's only gonna happen like 1% of the time. And
I
if you're
know.
like me and you just sort of like fart into Twitch one day with no debut and you're just like, whatever, it's going to take time. It's going to take time to build your audience and you should only go full time
Well, that's the funny thing,
um, when you
Line
build your
wasn't
audience.
even Line wasn't even like a debut, model making soon, if you guys retweet this 300 times, you'll see what the bunny looks like. It was like, no, I was like streaming before that. Like I was just streaming without a face cam or anything. I was just like playing games with music in the background. And then
Hmm.
like one day I was like, I want to get back into streaming. And then I was like, well, I see that people can do animated characters when they stream. So then I was like, let me make a bunny because like bunny's my favorite animal. I'll make him green because, lime green. And then boom, I was like streaming without knowing what a VTuber was. I just kind of had the picture of Lime moving around with my face and stuff because I thought it looked cool.
Yeah.
So like, and the thing is too, like how I found you, how you said like you just kind of farted onto Twitch one day. I'm like, I can not so much see that, but like I found you in the recommendations because it was like I watched one robot VTuber, Whisper Mute, and then it recommended me and my friend Saria, and then it went from Saria to you. So it just kind of went down this line of robot VTubers or like mech VTubers, I think is the key word of the term. Because it's like I
Robo VTubers,
robo
Atomic
VTubers.
Tubers, or whatever.
Yeah, because it's like Twitch is not really good at it, but sometimes they can hit the nail where they're like, "Oh, you like this robot? Check out this robot. You like this robot? Go to this robot." And it just will
Yeah.
start doing that where it's like, "Look at this robot VTuber. Like me, I'm a bunny, so it'll like recommend me other animal VTubers and stuff like that." So like if there's like a fox or somebody else in like that type of VTubing, then it'll like recommend me to them because they just look for keywords of like streamers you watch or what you stream in general. So I think that's actually pretty cool.
Yeah, I didn't have a big
Mhm.
didn't have a big debut or anything.
I mean, and that's the nice part is that not everybody needs that because I know some people do it just to build the hype up. Because I've seen some people
Oh
do
yeah,
that and they'll be like, it's like, oh, streaming soon, and they'll have like 400 or 500 people on Twitter watching them, and then they go to stream and there's like nobody there, or there's like two people.
yeah,
Like,
because it's their first stream, and but sometimes you can get it to work. But
yes.
what I would recommend to anyone starting out is just start streaming
Hmm.
and sort of feel out how you are while you're streaming. Uh, just go into it genuine. Don't try to put on a persona. Not so much like um don't act like your character. Like if you want to act your character, fine. Practice it at least. But don't be fake excited. I fucking hate that shit. Fake
Same.
laughter. You know, it's cringe. Cringe. I fucking hate it.
Cringe.
And viewers can detect it too. They're not stupid. But like stream for a couple of like, things. Even if you're just, streaming to one person, you need you need to be able to, you know, clip yourself and view yourself in your own element. And when you
Yeah.
when you have your debut, now you can like select clips of like when you were streaming and when you were having fun, just having a genuine good time. And then people will see that. And then you actually put on your debut. I think your debut should be defined as when you want to announce yourself to the world, not
And
just your first stream.
I think I like too when people I've had people with this mindset where they say, I want to stream until it's not fun anymore. And the reason why I say it like that is because they're streaming for fun. They're having fun with it. They're not like, oh my god, I need to keep streaming. Oh, I don't feel good today. I feel like shit, but I'm gonna go stream because then because then it's like if I stream while I sound like shit, then people know I'm on that grind. I'm like, no, if you feel like shit and then you're gonna play like shit and sound like shit, like it's not gonna be as fun. It's not gonna be as enjoyable if you're like, "Yeah, we're gonna go find more peach today."
I mean, I guess that's kind of the cool thing. Well,
Uh-huh.
because I've reached that full time status. One of the nice
Yeah.
things is um working from home. You can still
Mhm.
work when you're sick, if you're able to.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you said, like streaming when you don't feel like streaming
Mhm.
sucks. I kind of trapped myself into doing that
Mhm.
because last year when I quit my job, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna dive deep into this and I'm gonna see where it goes. It became my livelihood. I'm not gonna lie, that's how I pay my bills now. So
Mm.
I kind of have to stream,
Oh, yeah,
whether
and
or
that's what
not I feel good or bad that day. But
oh, yeah,
I've
and
learned to use streaming
mhm.
also as like a way to vent. Because talking about your feelings is still content,
Oh,
and
yeah. And I mean
I have chat there for me.
and I mean,
Chat's not something that should feel like a chore. It should be there to.
yeah. And I mean that more for, like, the people that are, like, they still work a job, they work a full-time job or, like, something like that, but then they're, like, on the grind, if that makes sense? Like, like, where you don't
Mhm.
overwork yourself, like, that's my biggest fear of people who do it and they overwork themselves to, like, pure stress and sickness over it, Like, kinda like that, but, like, I mean, I know it's your full-time job, so, like, it's like, it can be completely different, but is that something that, like, you ever fear? Like, you might have, like, a day or something you wake up and you're like, "This I'm kinda wanting to see what else is out there," or is this kinda, like, something you're definitely in for, like, the years to come kinda thing?
This is something I want to do, like basically for the rest of my life, if I
Mhm.
can't help.
Yes.
Um, when I was in high school, and I'd be
Mhm.
watching YouTube videos of like gamers, like Game Grumps, um, me and Mr. Best.
Mhm.
We would look at people like that, and we're just like, they fucking play video games for a living. How fucking cool is that? Like, what if we could do that? And he retort as in, that'd be nice, but we know we both know that's never gonna fucking happen. We're like, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. Then like
Yeah.
it's always sort of loomed over me where I kind of always felt like I was always just gonna have like a mundane job
Mhm.
and not really do anything that I dreamt of doing. Before I started VTubing
Mhm.
and when I was working at Mickey D's, um, I I kind of thought my next job would have been like a nutritional advisor since
Ooh,
I'm really geeky about that type of stuff. And
interesting.
I was actually thinking of getting a like a some type of like certificate for some online college or whatever, and maybe work at a at a fitness place. That was that was like sort of my plan A. That was plan A.
Mhm. And then, like
Because God knows plan B was a dream and plan C was fucking impossible. Plan B being like an artist. Plan C being a fucking content creator.
and, like, that's how I feel too, because like, I never actually dreamed of, like, being in VTubing or podcast interviews and stuff like that, like, before all this, I was actually in punk bands and stuff like that, so I was filling in as a drummer, playing bass and stuff, and, like, doing, like, little travel stuff in my town, and I thought that was gonna be my whole career, and then, just one day I kinda had this, like, not burnout of music, but I was like, "I kinda wanna stay home more now," because like, I didn't really like going outside as much, like, something kinda snapped at me, I was like, "I kinda wanna be a more homebody person," and then that's when I got into, like,
It's
streaming and
very
stuff.
taxing.
It does,
I could imagine that's very taxing.
like, someone's like, "So, like, what if you left VTubing or Twitch and da da da?" I'm like, "Honestly, I would still have my creative outlook." Like, I think if like, was working a small-time job or something, I would still wanna be making a YouTube video or making content of some kind, because I feel like I still want that
Hmm.
creative outlet, like, hell, even I'm just one of those people that's, like, 30 subscribers on YouTube with, like, 800 bass cover videos, like, I would still like that, just something to keep me occupied. Like, I always have that content creation or that, like, that drive to at least be doing something, where other people can see it.
I think
Like mhm,
if I ever stopped VTubing, I would at least still continue to make models.
and that's a great field though, because there's always good money in, like, art and stuff like that
Hmm.
if you can have the audience for it, and
It's a lot easier now for me since
mhm,
people know that I make models and they're like, oh yeah, like Mech did all of her own stuff. So, maybe I want something like that. It's hard. It's hard having like a career as an artist
mhm,
because even if you want to start to be one, you have to have some type of repertoire. You have to have you know, you have to be known, and that means getting your stuff out there. And if you want to get yourself out there without anyone taking a risk and
mhm,
investing in you, you have to give out free stuff. You know,
exactly.
you have to give out samples, like at Costco. If you want to be able to buy the products, you got to give them a little taste.
Can
It's really hard. It's really hard to I guess VTubing is slightly different, where the whole point is to expose yourself.
mhm,
The whole point is to expose yourself, and um, oh man, VTubers that are artists, like you said, they really fucking like
they can c
that's a perfect recipe right there because you know you can just do art streams. That's two
oh,
birds with one stone. You're streaming,
and you're working on
and
stuff.
you're still getting work done. That's like I remember when
Mhm.
I remember when I did like my first art stream, which was like just a silly like I'm gonna try to copy Bob Ross in Clip Studio. Um, like God, I fucking hated
That
it. One, I was
that
trying to keep pace up with the guy, and two,
uh
like I don't have a tablet, so I was doing everything with a fucking mouse. Not to
I
mention he's using like a physical brush, so it was like really really wild. I was like
that
that was fun for like a little bit, but I don't know if
mm,
I'll do art streams, you know.
mhm,
And when I was watching Doxy. Doxyverse,
Mhm.
when they were doing art streams, they were just like really chill. And they didn't mind people looking at their like unfinished art, which has always been uh, a thing. You know, it's not finished. Don't look.
Don't spoil
But
the project. I
they
kinda
they
like
were
that.
um they were just chilling and having a good time, and like they just clicked in my head like they're doing commission work and streaming at the same time. I should start doing because I know I can. I just gotta like
Mhm.
slap that bad feeling out of me. So
Mhm.
now I'm doing I'm slicing up models and sometimes rigging them in the same stream. And um I don't know, I just get into the headspace where I'm just able to work. And it feels very nice. And that is like even I think even if I stopped VTubing, I
Mhm.
would still be doing VTubing in a sense, but maybe like not going as hard. I would just be, um, I would just be
Like,
like rigging models live on stream as like a chill thing.
I have friends that do that too, that, like, do the 3 model stuff, like, my friend Saria, she like, a lot of her streams really aren't even playing games. She'll play games, like, off and on, but, like, a lot of her stuff is just her making outfits or, taking commissions from people because she can literally, like, stretch that out for, like, a little bit since it takes a lot of time to make
Oh yeah.
a 3D model from the ground up, so I'm like, I mean, that's what I would be doing. Honestly, if I could do art and stuff like that, I would be doing that, but, like, that's the same thing with me. I'm a very chill streamer. I've been known as a chill streamer for a while, but it's, like, funny though, because 'cause I'll play, like, Valorant or, like, really intense games, but I don't get mad and stuff when I lose. I'll be like, "Okay, whatever, next game," because it's like, I didn't wanna be one of those people that's like, "Oh my god, you fuckers," like that sort like, screaming and breaking my keyboard and stuff, like, I did that, like, when I was, like, first streaming, like, on a different channel where I'd get mad or get yelly, and then, like, as I got more older and got a little more calmer, I was like, "Yeah, I just wanna play games and talk to people." Like, that's literally my whole goal on my channel. I'm like, "I don't care if I
imagine
win or lose a game."
imagine having to do like an art stream, but then
Uh-huh.
people want you to explode and pat your head and fucking force you to change how you look and
Oh my god. I have seen some of your streams where it's just, like, pure chaos. It's just, like, nice and relaxing. You're drawing something and Taco Bell the Taco Bell song starts coming on or just, like, white YouTube poop music just starts coming on in
yeah.
the background. It's so good. Like,
People and then there are people come in like, "Oh my god, this is so crazy." And I'm like,
it cr
this is like a relaxing stream." I'm like, "Ah." And then of course people will fucking, you know,
Mhm,
call my fucking bluff and they'll do all the redeems and crazy but yeah,
mhm.
no, sometimes it can be distracting.
I I was
Doing
gonna say there was
the stream
a
and all
I
that
was
shit going on.
I would say the funniest
But
story I actually have was I've rated you, like, twice, and, like,
uh
I've had my first time I ever rated you, a lot of people have to turn up their headphone volume because 'cause I'm very quiet. I have lo-fi going, I talk very soft. I'm a very quiet person. So, like, I rated you once, and then, like, I had 3 people message me, they're like, "My headphones are at max," and like, "Chat, we're being raided." Bah! And so, like, people got, like, an ear blast full of laser. I was laughing so much. I was like it was so good. It was so funny. He was like,
I'll have
because it
to
goes
I'll have to upgrade my laser one of these days.
I would love that. It just cracked me up because it's like, I've had that happen a few times, where it's like somebody will go from, like, a nice quiet stream to, like, something really loud, like, same thing happened with my friend Saria, like, I rated her and she was, like, screaming her head off or, like, yelling about something at, like, full volume. I love it though, I mean, the chaos when it does happen, because it's like it doesn't happen, like, constantly through stream, which is very nice. It's a very good pacing, but, like, when it does
Mr.
happen, it
Just
is
was
hilarious.
Mr. Just was telling me about that too. He's like,
How good the
you have a good
pacing?
mix of like, chaos and then like there's those times where people know to calm down.
Mhm.
And because we were talking about Jal in the wrecking crew,
Mhm.
and like sometimes it can be a little too much in that channel. I love him. I love Jaw. I got a lot of my inspiration from him.
Uh-huh.
But sometimes it's like you need a break from stuff that's happening. Sometimes you want to see the game being played. um, I think I don't I like my pacing in my streams. I like. There's very odd moments where um some days I'll have like really nice viewership,
Mhm.
and you know how cheap my redeems are. I'll
Yes.
I'll I'll be genuinely surprised. I was like, wow, I it, it's not insane right now, and
And I mean
people are actually behaving. I think it's because the redeems are so cheap. They
mhm,
don't feel they don't feel like they're gonna lose the ability to redeem anything on the channel.
mhm.
So there's no feeling of like, oh, I finally saved up to do this. Now I'm gonna redeem it as soon as I can. Like nothing like that. It's just like, oh,
Yeah.
I can do this at any time.
I
But
would say
I'm just gonna watch right
I was gonna say I think the only redeem I ever saw people, like, not really race to, but would, like, definitely save up for is when you used to do, dating games, if you remember that? When you
now.
used to do the
Yeah,
little D&D dating thing.
people want me to do it again. They want me
I
to
just
do it. I stopped doing it because
mhm.
it interrupted the flow of the stream a
Oh,
little
I
too
can
much.
actually see that. Yeah, because I can imagine, like, what was it like? Did you have like a what was the cooldown on it? If it's okay to ask, do you remember?
I think it was 30 minutes.
Oh my, yeah. See, like, I mean, because even like think about it, even if you put it like an hour, that's like every hour somebody's gonna redeem a date. So like, you're gonna have like 7 or 8 dates within like one stream if like people are that constant on it.
Yeah. It Lordy. I I kind of want to bring it back, but in a different format. Probably not as like a full-on interactive game,
Hmm.
because whenever I did that, I realized like if they don't know how to play, then I
Hmm.
have to explain it to them, and then it takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of time out of the stream. So if I do introduce it again, it'll still be somewhat interactive, but they won't have to learn any
Oh,
if
I
that makes
see.
any sense.
Yeah, absolutely. I do. I think if you did bring it back, it'd be interesting to see just because like it's been I don't know how many months or how long it's been, but I mean, it would be interesting now that you've kind of, grown in your audience and in general grown as like an animator and stuff like that. So it'd be kind of interesting to see like what your take on it would be now comparing it to like when you first did it.
Oh yeah.
Um
Ugh.
and then so the other thing I was actually going to ask you too was about your models as well. Um, is there like any model in particular that you've actually were like, oh my god, this is like the perfect one? Like it could be like even like one of your silly ones. Is like any of them that have just been like, this is like the best model I've ever made?
Um, I I do have my favorites, I guess.
Hmm.
I mean, I'll still always adore 2.0,
Hmm.
which is like the main default one you'll see.
Hmm.
But as someone who has rigged the model, I know that model has uh some some things that like are not good, like the mouth opening is not as flexible. It's literally just open state and closed state.
Oh, so there's like nothing really in between, or
Yeah, I can't really like form the mouth with face tracking.
that's true because I have seen it
And
like when
there's
you're
also
think.
like
Hmm.
some deformers that are like that. Actually, that model is not perfectly symmetrical. I didn't know
Hmm.
how to do perfectly symmetrical stuff when I made that model. So it's actually not symmetrical, which kind of bothers me.
Hmm.
It's just OCD. But I mean, I still like it. But I know there's still some things about it that I don't. I'll just go in order here.
Okay.
What was nice? The anime model,
Hmm.
I like it, but I don't like the fact that its legs don't really move. I like
Hmm.
the hip sway. That was my first hip sway model.
Ooh.
It's very minor.
Hmm.
With each model, I sort of like try to implement a new tech. Every model I make, there's something new that I learn. Uh, with the anime model, I actually got the eyes right. Uh,
Hmm.
the buck tooth is always there, which is what I totally forgot to do on 2.0. I think, I think my, let me go through my files.
You're
What,
good.
what Mackenzie models do I have?
Actually, while you're doing that, if it's all right to ask, are we gonna need to see a 3D Mackenzie in the future, possibly?
Maybe, but that's in the far future.
That kind of like not on your like to-do list anytime soon.
Yeah, not anytime soon. I still got to make 3.0.
I feel that that's how Lime is. Lime is I have like one 3D model of Lime, but it's like him like literally as a human with like a Lime outfit because it was like the cheapest thing at the time because trying to commission anybody for animals in 3D or 2D is like a complete bitch to do because people don't like to draw bunny ears. Apparently that's
Yeah,
people's
the
struggles.
muzzle. The muzzle
Yeah.
is really hard to do in 2D sometimes.
Oh yeah.
Let's see. Bowser Mackenzie.
Oh. Mhm.
That was fun. That's the first one where I actually tried to make the mouth forms a little bit more flexible.
Nice.
I don't like the arm physics on that one. I actually had to go in and fix it. There's Doodle Mech, which is literally just like a really quickly made 2.0, but with like
Mm.
better feet movement. Let's see, going down the list. I think Undertale Mackenzie's probably my favorite so far
Mhm.
because I like the expression and I like how it looks. Just like monochrome, just a monochrome Mackenzie, and you know it's very toonish. I like the eyes on it as well. It'll be something you kind of see in 3.0. 3.0 is going to be a mixture of Undertale Mackenzie and 2.0. Like all the best parts of those two models, and
Interesting.
like just a bunch of other improvements. And that's why I'm taking so long to make it. It's just it's a lot. It's a lot. I'm dealing with like 300 plus textures on that one. That
Oh,
thing is not a joke.
good lord.
There's the wackily drawn plant, like potted Mackenzie.
Mhm.
That one was fun. Um, I like using that one. Lakitu Mackenzie is probably a second runner up. I love my Lakitu Mackenzie.
I was gonna say, for like the models and stuff, like, do you try to make one for like very specific games, or is it kind of like, oh, I'm in the mood to make a model, and you just kind of make something you're interested in?
It's kind of if I'm in the mood to make it, and if it's simple to make.
I see.
If I look at a design, I'll be like, how would that look like if it was just like Mackenzified? And would it be simple to do? And I think people underestimate simple designs.
I do too. Because I mean, like, I think in general, I don't think simple is ever bad because I think some people just get so spoiled when they watch someone and they're like, well, this person, they can change colors whenever they feel like it, or this person can change outfits in a snap, or they have like a wardrobe of like 50 outfits. Da, da, da. And I'm like, I literally have lime in like two
The thing
purple
about
hoodies.
that is is especially limiting if you're not the artist that made the
Exactly.
model. Because if you're not, you'll have to go back to the person and be like, hey, I want to commission like an outfit or like, can you make an animation for me? And you know, of course they'll charge you. And the more intricate a model is, um, let's say um,
Hmm.
let's say a very ornate looking, you know, very
Hmm.
ornate and nice looking anime model, for instance.
Hmm.
You know, they have to go to the art to make the asset, to make it look really good. And, you know, the more effort you have to put into something, shading, lighting, all that crap, it's going to cost a lot of money. Even if you didn't make your own simple model, it costs like just, I'm just thinking of like, you know, monetary, um, the
Mhm.
monetary spectrum of things, it's gonna cost you way less. Not only that, like, there's so many benefits to simple models.
And
There's
think
more margin for error.
Yeah.
There's more margin for error. So, like, if you're rigging um, the model, um, if something doesn't look perfect, it doesn't have to look perfect. You know, it can you have there's more flexibility. You know, it can wobble around as much as it wants, and people will fucking love it.
And that's the thing too, it's like, it's a pain in the neck too, like, for example, I have a couple models, like I've said, and literally the biggest problem is that a lot of times you get an artist, they do your model, and then, like, let's say you wanna go back for a different outfit or to add some stuff, a lot of times they end up being at a decommission. Either they quit making art or they have, a lot of work, so they can't make it as much. So I'm like, so if you want to add to that model, you have to look out and see if somebody can draw over the original artist's stuff, or you might have to like go with a whole new artist in general, and that's like kind of
Right?
sucky. So
If it's
like
if it's a simple model, then
exactly.
there's more likelihood that different artists can adapt to
And
that
that's the
same art
beautiful
style.
and exactly that's the beautiful part. That's why I was thinking about that. I'm like, that's actually the beautiful part if you keep it simple. Like Lime is fairly simple. I don't
Assets are
really
easily made for those things.
yeah. Lime is
They might not share
mhm.
a lot of the free assets, like hands doing something in like VTube Studio. Normally, it's like a human hand. Obviously, I'm not going to be able to freely get like the glove hand versions of stuff.
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna have to make that stuff myself. But it's not that simple.
Exactly.
Uh, Another thing about simple design models is that they're a lot faster to make. They're a
Exactly.
lot faster to make. If you want to debut and you want to become a VTuber, and you want something that doesn't cost a lot of money and you want to do it fast, simple design models. Now, it does come with a caveat where if you're gonna have a simple design, it needs to shine. The design needs to not only be simple but has to be recognizable. So that you have to sort of pick out like a few key features that you definitely want people to recognize. But that's a good thing. Like that's the pro of simple models is that because it's so simple, you actually get to focus on those things.
Exactly.
And it also comes into play with rigging. Yeah, maybe I have a simple model, but because I have a simple model, now I get to focus on the expression of the model. And I will always stress that expression on any model, whether it be 3D or 2D,
Mhm.
like expression and flexibility of the model are like the most important parts of what is considered a good model. Because, like, let's face it, the whole point of being a VTuber is to have people look at your design. You know, I didn't make a model for people to never see it, right?
Exactly.
So and it's going to be the same as sort of watching a cam streamer's reaction. Seeing them get excited. You have to see the model get excited too, whether or not that's through movement, something to convey expression, and that way, um, they can relate to how the avatar looks like it's feeling. And if you don't have that, like you can have the most ornate looking model, but if it's stiff and it doesn't really change its face, no one's gonna feel um no one's gonna feel what you're feeling as a streamer.
Exactly. And it that's what it just kind of comes down to. It's kind of just all preference. Like, people have, different ones for different things. So some people like to keep simple and some people they want all the bells and whistles right out the gate.
Hmm.
That's why, like I said, with Lime, he's literally the most basic clothes and not really that complex. It's just the most basic bunny you could do. Because I was like, I didn't really want to get like a person with bunny ears. I was like, I don't really want to be a human. I'm already a human myself.
Yeah,
I need to be something a little more different. So it's like,
that's
okay,
that is
button
the
under.
worst when I see a
Mhm.
VTuber. That's like I don't know. Let's pick
Mhm.
Any object, just like I'm a clock VTuber or something like that, and like
I'm
literally the only thing that they have
I'm
is like
divorce papers VTuber.
I don't know, like maybe like one of their eyes is literally a clock, and then like
Yeah.
that's it. And I'm like, there's nothing else about your design that says you are a clock. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like
You're literally just
mhm.
like an anime person with like a gear sticking out of their head. Like if you had
Mhm,
more elements of that in your model, sure. Like let me see like
mhm.
I don't know, maybe like one of your shoulders is like completely exposed and I can see all of like your
Yeah.
clockwork shit. Like
That'd be
it's
cool.
something that really, really yeah, I know, right? Like I'm a fucking genius. But
I think that would be no, I actually now I'm very curious. Now I wanna see divorce papers VTuber, and, like, when somebody
divorce paper
subscribes
VTuber.
when somebody subscribes
Jeez.
to them, it has, like, a little box, and, like, on their model, and it, like, fills in the box with the person's name for signature.
Can you imagine? Okay, so oh, I wish Randon the orc still streamed. Do you
Uh,
remember that guy?
no, sadly. What's, like, a summary of them?
Basically, Randon the orc. Um, just imagine, The Office.
Mhm.
It's an orc. It's just an office worker.
Oh, yeah, yeah, no, I actually remember him now. He was, the big green guy, right?
Yes, he was on YouTube mostly.
Did he
Um,
retire or
yeah, unfortunately, he retired.
Aw.
Um, but okay, so like a model like that, his mouth actually had like decent expression.
Mhm.
Um, unfortunately, I think it was kind of stiff. I wish I was the one that rigged that model if I knew what I knew now when I started. Like if I rigged that model, I would have given that shit so much more like but like can you imagine like just like an office worker VTuber and like you just I just love the concept of just like regular person VTubers but done very well. Like like a stack of like work papers that need to be filled out, just like slam on the desk. And like you can be very creative, like the most mundane fucking like model ideas. But you just have to like really, really, really press on the theme. It can be done. But some people like they can take um the coolest fucking idea, like I'm a tar monster VTuber or something like that. But
Mhm.
um then they don't really go too far with it.
Yeah, and that's
I think it's lost potential.
it
There's
isn't
potential in even like the most mundane ideas.
oh, yeah, and that's, like, the hardest thing to think about too. It's like, some people like, a lot of people, I think their main thing they like to do when they stream is just stream as themselves with, like, the avatar over them, kinda like how I do. Like, Lime doesn't really have, like, its own personality or anything. It's, like, just a little chill bunny playing video games, lo-fi's playing in the background, talking and answering questions, and then some people they have like, like you said, the office theme, or they're themed as a car, or there's somebody who's always on, like they have like lore and all this cool stuff with it.
Yeah. I
And
mean,
that's what
sure, Mackenzie has lore, but like anyone who watches my streams knows I'm not really in character like
yeah.
90% of the time.
You're not
And
like mhm.
and if I'm screaming at a game, it's not because I'm trying to be Mackenzie. I'm legitimately screaming at the game because it's
Mm.
fucking awful or some shit. Uh, but yeah, no, like um, acting. I mean, we can talk about that.
Oh, hell yeah.
VTubers acting as a character.
It
I
is
think
mhm.
I think should only really be done if you are committed to doing that
Oh, there are some
because
committed people out there. Let me tell you, I have seen some
oh
people
yeah,
not great character.
oh yeah.
Holy shit.
And if you have to like put on a voice, it might like stress out your vocal cords,
Yeah.
which sucks. I don't know how they do it.
I would hate to do that, to have like a voice where it's like hey guys, so yeah, we're thank you for the stream today, and then like I forget to like turn it
Mhm.
off, and then I'm like, oh thank God, man, I can't do that voice anymore. Oh shit, I'm still alive. Like, you know what I mean? Then like it's like it's plastered everywhere. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I can never really imagine doing a voice. Like I know like how you kind of do the robot voice, stuff like that, like the whole mechanics of that.
That's just a filter. You know, it's just a
Yeah.
filter. I'm just speaking normally, and that's how it's coming out.
That's actually
If I were to
mhm.
oh, I'm talking like a goblin. Hello,
Yeah.
everybody. Or like I'm not gonna be able to keep that up fucking for 12 hours. Like,
No.
no, thank you.
Nah,
No.
and the thing is that I've done, not for Lime, but I've experimented with, like, voice mod and stuff for fun, and that thing can crash pretty easily, and I've seen, like, streamers where that's happened to them, so they'll have, like a filter on them, and then it, like, crashes, and it shows their real voice, and then everyone freaks out, they're like, "Oh my god, it's the real voice," and I'm like, I don't wanna be somebody where somebody freaks out that they hear my real voice. I'm like, I don't know why, but I'm, like, one of those people, I'm like, I'm not super private, but, like, at the same time, I'm like, I don't really know if there's like anything I really besides my face, that I'm hiding. I'm
Mhm.
not really like the next stream where I have to wait for 30 million subscribers and then show my face.
I wanna do a face reveal at 10K followers.
Can you do it like dreams where you have like the mask and everything and then drop it and be like, well, this is it. I'm Mackenzie. And like have everybody start
It's
crying and
essentially just almost essentially it's like, I'm gonna break everyone's heart. Sorry.
I would I would love that. You should just do that for a collab, get like the wrecking crew and like other people you can find, just have people say, I need your most over dramatic like reaction to me showing my face. And then it's just like a whole thing of that, like people like crying like actual tears and screaming like, oh my god, it's the face, it's the face. Oh my god.
Like, I mean, Pappy's revealed his face. Kind of
Mhm,
in a similar idea that I wanted to do. Like, I think he also did it at 10K. Um,
mhm.
and people didn't care
It's
because
yeah.
we're very similar. We both have a VTuber model, but we're not really ever in character
No.
that much.
And that's what like that's kind of like for me too. Like I had to do like a GoFundMe like a long time ago, and like I think I messed up and my real name was on it, and like it's already deleted now, and if somebody really wants to go find it, go for it. But like, and someone's like, oh my god, I know your real name now, da da da, and I'm like, I don't care. I'm just a streamer. I'm just a
Yeah,
human like you. I just have a green bunny avatar on Twitch. There's nothing super duper uber pooper special about me. Like I'm not I'm not
yeah,
that high up on the chain. Because some people do, they treat themselves like they're like, like somebody who has like I mean, no offense to the people that are like, lower numbers and stuff, but some people do, they treat themselves like, oh my God, if my face or my voice got out there, da, 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 that'd be the end of me. And I'm like, why though?
right.
That
Yeah,
doesn't, I guess that doesn't process with me when someone doesn't show their face or their real voice. I'm like, it doesn't bother me. Like, even Nux did a face reveal a while back, and I'm like, I could really give a shit. Like, he makes content, but I don't really care what his face looks like because everyone has a face, or most people have a face. So it's like I've never just been like, oh my god,
most
I've
people
always
do
wanted
have a
to.
face. No, you're right. You're right.
I don't know. I'm just one of those people where I'm like, I'm not gonna freak out over seeing someone's face if that makes sense, unless it's literally like that thing Teeny wants to do where we all like meet each other like in Vegas. I'm like, that's probably the only time I'd be like, oh my god,
It's a
face.
fun it's a fun curiosity. You're like, oh,
It is.
that's what you look like behind the screen.
That's I'm
Put the
still.
cartoon mask back on. And, you know,
I know I'm gonna be disappointed like when that trip comes up, and I'm just gonna be like, wait, so you're not a cartoon character? So I wasted my time coming out here. Okay, well I'm gonna fly back
hmm
home. Bye guys. You're not a real jest. You're not dressed like a jest. And wait, you're not a real Spartan? You're not dressed in Spartan gear all the time? Okay, I'm done with this trip. The illusion is
if
gone.
Teeny could help it, he probably would.
Oh, I could see him actually walking around Las Vegas wearing his Spartan armor and stuff. That'd be cool. I told him I was like, when we go to Vegas, I told him I said the first thing I want to take him to is the 24-hour Taco Bell. Like that's my first visit I want to do. Go visit the Taco Bell that's like on the strip, just because just
Isn't
because it's
it like any other Taco Bell though? This is
but
24 hours.
but he doesn't have Taco Bell in Sweden, so I want to show him
Doesn't have to go
Taco
to a
Bell.
24-hour one.
I thought there was a 24-hour one for like the drunks and stuff. I could have swore there
Um,
was.
it might be different because of COVID.
Oh yeah, that's true. So it might have changed. But like I told Teeny, like I want to go like when he goes to Vegas, I'm like I want to show him like as much American food as possible. Like he really wants me to take him to a Jack in the Box to get him that really like that thing that has like all the popcorn chicken, fries and mini tacos and stuff. like all like the shit food. I was like, yes, Teeny, I'll show
Yeah,
you
he's
all this.
gonna he's gonna go back to Sweden looking like an entirely different creature.
He's gonna look like the girl from what is it? Willy Wonka when she like bloats into the blueberry.
Jesus.
Oh, now speaking of Vegas though, how is Vegas going for you?
Vegas is nice. I can't say I know much about it because I've only been here for like what, uh, three, 3 weeks.
I would say like,
Yeah.
and I think for me, like, I don't know how different it is because I've lived in Arizona and like New Mexico, so like it feels like to me it's like a lot more colorful and brighter because of the strip. But like if you live in just like the suburbs and stuff, it's just desert with desert kind of thing. At
hmm
least in my perspective.
I
Like,
actually don't really leave the house that often,
mm,
or much at all.
I'm the same
Uh,
way.
yeah. I mean, like, I work from home anyway.
Yeah.
Uh, and I don't have a car, so I just have groceries delivered here.
Yeah,
If
I
I'm
do that.
going anywhere, it's
Uh-huh.
probably with Mr. Jess.
I just do that Walmart thing where they just drop groceries off at your front door. That shit's fire.
Yeah. I got that.
Uh,
I got that free delivery.
yeah,
Got that free
same.
delivery.
I because it's not you have to pay like $15 for it or like what like well not 15 but like if you get it on a
It's
rush
like
it's
seven
15.
bucks.
Yeah, if it's like
It's like seven
normal.
bucks. I think
But
you gotta use it at least 14 times for it to be beneficial.
yeah,
But
it's
given
worth
my
it
living
though.
situation, that's going to be
I think
it's definitely
mhm.
worth it.
For the price of like an Uber or just gas in general, you save so much more money just doing that. The only thing negative though is like they don't put everything on the website. So if you're like, oh, they're out of this, but then you go there in person, it's like full, like the shelves are full of like the item you're looking for.
Yeah.
So like that's the only thing that negative I don't like about it is that they cheap out a lot. So it's like, oh, these fries aren't in stock, so you have to pay $2 more for these fries, but the cheap fries are in stock. You just have to be there in person to pick them up, which I find kind of stupid, but it is what it is. Can't have everything. I didn't get my $2
Yeah.
cheaper fries. So,
What's what's your opinion about
mhm.
what's your opinion about like how larger streamers conduct themselves?
So with me, that's actually a really good question because I'm super picky about who I watch, and that's not a mean or jerk thing. It's like I when I watch somebody stream or watch a video, I get very invested. But like when I watch a
Mhm.
lot of bigger people, it's not ever like, oh, don't give like why are people giving them like $200? They're a partner streamer. Da da da. I'm like, it has to be their content. Like if someone's partner and I can literally sit down and watch them, that's a huge compliment. Because a lot of partners I watch, like you can tell like some of them lose who they were, and it's really sad, like really depressing. Because it's like you'll go and like watch their old stuff and they'll be very humble, but then some of them get so either overwhelmed or they get so high to the top they kind of forget about like where they started, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And
That's a big thing with me too.
that's like
I
my
don't
biggest
I don't
fear.
ever want to fucking
Hmm.
I know my roots. I started from
Yeah.
dirt,
Yeah.
and I didn't like get lucky with, you know, knowing somebody that's like already famous and they just so happen to like me. They give me
Mhm.
like numbers and shit. I I feel like I genuinely worked for what I have, and like I worked myself to the bone. You know, I
And
made my own model. I learned how to rig it. I learned OBS. I learned how
mhm,
to do art. I had to like network all by myself. I had to make my own Discord. I had to build my own community. I had to interact with my community. Uh,
mhm,
you know,
and
I
mhm,
and
and that's
I see all these other streamers who kind of no, they kind of take their community for granted, and um, I don't want to name any names, but let's just say I one day um I rated someone that I thought I could interact with well, and I looked up to them,
mhm,
and I think this was like maybe I had like 50 people or something. That was like a really big number for me back in the day, and gave him like a 50-person raid, and that was like maybe like
mhm,
1/10 of like what they had currently.
uh-huh,
But I mean, like, it's still 50 people.
mhm,
That's 50 people. You're sharing your community with another person. They said hello, but then kind of like nothing else. And I said, like, oh, what are you streaming? Um, you know, I tried to, be like to interact. I'm sharing my community with you. Um,
mhm,
but like they were just kind of silent. And it's not like uh, chat was a waterfall. And then the next time I go into, sort of see what they're doing.
mhm,
Um, they have like, of course, their average 500 people watching them.
mhm,
Chat is like moving rather like it's not again like it wasn't a water.
mhm,
Someone donates 300 bits. You know, they s- I see it. They look
mhm.
on their screen. They see the donation, and then they look back at the game, and they don't say shit. And I was like, wow, how fucking I don't care. I don't care how low the donation is. Like if someone is like walking around the street and they hand you $3, like do you say nothing? Like
Ex
not even like a thank you?
That's happened to me a few times. I had one time I think I raided somebody back like early streaming. We're talking like 2020. Like line
Hmm.
was a little bunny. Um, I think I raided somebody with like 10 people and they didn't even have a lot of people. They had maybe like 5 or 10. It was like one of my friends. I
Hmm.
raided them. We all said Bunny Burrow. They did not
You, you
even acknowledge
you
it.
pretty much doubled their fucking number right there.
Yeah, they didn't say thank you. They didn't say hi to everyone. They were just like they looked down and they kept playing their game. And the thing is, like on Twitch, I've noticed even more recently, there's a lot of cheaters, and I won't name names. Because there's one person that I don't watch, but I have them on my radar just to see what happens with them. They
Hmm.
literally will go up to 1,000 people, like viewing wise, and then they have a chat that literally talks maybe every 2 minutes, and every 2 minutes is something like, "Oh, nice play. Oh, wow, look at that character. Wow, what are you doing today? It's cool to see a stream." And then
What
he won't say
they have
anything.
bots talking?
Yeah, it's, chatbots. They're literally
Wow.
made so, like, every few minutes, they say certain things to certain games. Like, he had one where he didn't, I guess he set it for Fortnite, and he was playing, Valorant or a different game, literally was like, "Oh my god, which skin are you gonna pick today? Like, what character are you gonna pick?" And then I'm like, "Skin?" I'm like, "This isn't even Fortnite," and all the people and there's like 5 or 10 people asking what skin he's gonna choose, and I'm like, "There is no skin in Valorant." So, no, the dude,
That
like
is disgusting.
I will literally send it to you after this interview. I'll send you who the guy is, and you can, like, watch his VOD because it has his chat with it. And yeah, no, he's straight up cash cowing his channel. Like a lot of people will do that with their channels now when they're like not relevant anymore. Because what happened was like after 2020 or like mid 2021, a lot of people lost their audience or they lost a lot of viewership because people went back to work. A lot of people lost interest in going to Twitch and all
Mhm.
sorts of shit happened. So like some people just to stay relevant just bought the shit out of their channels. Or like once they get partnership or they get a channel somehow with a partner check mark, they'll cash cow it. So they'll have a fake chat bot, they'll have, a game and then they just talk to a couple friends and they basically ignore chat. Like if somebody could literally be in there, not bot wise, say hi or how's the game going, and they'll either ignore it or they'll just be like, I don't know what you're talking about, but hi, and then go back to their game. And it's like, fuck, no wonder why I'm not a Twitch partner. You have so many people who just bought their way to the top, and it's kind of heartbreaking. Like,
Mhm.
it's easy. Like, I hate to say it, but like, it is easy to cheat the system now. Like, you can literally, if somebody really wanted to, they could literally take a Twitch and or YouTube channel, fill it with bots, like every so often, and then do it for like half a year, and then apply for partnership. Within 3 to 6 months, and Twitch wouldn't do
Yeah.
anything about it.
They only like seeing numbers. That's all.
'Cause
That's all it really detect.
And then yet I've seen like VTubers who work their ass off and then they don't their like check mark, they literally cannot get partnered like the first like 5 times. They have to do like 5 or
Mhm.
6 different applications and then they get their partnership. And then the people that are botting and not like cheating are just like, "Oh yeah, here you go. You made it to your numbers here, take it." And I'm like, "Damn." That's why it gets frustrating sometimes on this platform because you don't know who's actually hardworking, honest, and stuff like that, and then you don't know the people who are cheating. Like you can never tell, and that's always
I
going to
was
be kind of
actually
a
talking with
sticker.
that with Just the other day,
What
where
view botters?
again, not naming any name, but
Uh-huh.
um there I saw a couple of like videos in my YouTube feed of like a VTuber that's just like, oh, I got partner in 4 months. How did I do it? What's the mindset? And it's like, and I know these people. Uh, they they got partner really fast because they already had a gigantic fucking YouTube audience.
True.
And I'm like, don't don't fucking like don't fucking act like you started like I did. You know what like I if anyone's gonna make the how to get to partner video,
Mhm.
it's gonna be me. Because
That
everyone knows where I started. Everyone knows I didn't I wasn't gigantic.
that's what I was gonna
I
say.
feel
Like
like I
you,
need to be the person to make that video, and I'm gonna be raw about it. I'm not gonna be nice. I'm gonna tell you the absolute truth. You know, sometimes, sometimes maybe like people hate a design, and like it's because it was too experimental, or maybe
some
being a partner VTuber, your design can be important because the whole purpose is to fucking look at you. Or if that's not even your focus, you gotta be like an actual entertaining person, or maybe you gotta have gigantic titties, and most of the like demographic is like just horny people.
can you just do
But
that for
like,
yours? Just be like, step 1, get big
sure,
boobs. Like if you're a
yeah,
guy
get
model,
big
fuck it,
bobs.
put big boobs on that model.
It's like if you want to become partner from actually working hard, you really have to. And
Mhm,
I'm not even partner yet.
mhm.
And I have people being like, "Wow, Meg, how come you're not even partner yet?" It's like it's because I don't have like a giant YouTube following, and I didn't like transfer over to Twitch with that following, and I just started from like ashes, and like it's slow. I'll get there eventually. I'll get there eventually.
Oh, yeah, and that's,
Um,
like that's a
but
definite.
like for the people that get there like within the first month, they're either like corporate VTubers
Mhm.
who have, several communities that will check them out on day one, or they're already famous like, content creators. And they just bring their community and then just, again. Like they already have the community. I don't really feel like like yes, they may have had to work to get their community. Did they have to work to get partner though? Nah, because that's just a numbers game. And that's all they know. That's all they know how to read is just numbers. If you had to take in like
Mhm.
imagine if you had to not only apply for partner and have the numbers, but like you needed people to like vie for you and like you know have you as like a reference, right? You have to have other people as a reference or some shit. Then it would be much harder,
I
much
mean,
much.
yeah, and, like, that's the thing for me, like, some people have asked me the same thing, they're like, "You have, like, 4,000 people on Twitch and, like, over 1,000 on YouTube, yet you don't have this and that," and I'm like, "Because it's a casual thing for me," like, I upload a podcast as much as I can, and then I kinda just stream when I want to, it's this isn't something I'm trying to do right now, as
Mhm.
like a rush. Like I'll announce when I do like a partner push, and I mean it like when I think like when I'm actually a little more settled in and ready for that, I will. But like right now, I'm so happy with where I'm at because it's like when I stream, it's awesome. When I don't stream, that's chill too. You know what I mean? It's like at least there's a podcast on the way. So I
Yeah.
like that thing. I'm not really going for like that partner push, like or to get partnership on YouTube quite yet. Like I think if anything, I'd probably do a YouTube partner push since like I have more podcasts and podcasts can like push you more for the threshold of partnership more than like getting numbers on Twitch. Cause it's like I've told people they're like, which one's easier to get? And I'm like, YouTube and Twitch partnerships are both hard to get, but like Twitch partnerships will make you the money though. Like in all honesty, I'm like, if you want money, you go to Twitch. If you just want to have content and more people look at your content, you got to go to YouTube because YouTube's not really the money maker.
Yeah, I will. I'll pretty much only ever do a partner push if I need like 5 more concurrent viewers or something like that.
Mhm. I've seen people do partner pushes when they literally have like 5 people watching them and they have like 10 follows. Like they just started streaming and they're like, I'm going
Yeah,
for a partner. And I'm like, why? You just started. You don't even know if you want to do this yet.
or they have like say I don't know like 35 on average. Like that's not enough. That's not you need to like push. Like you would need to push really hard for that. I'm not even
True.
gonna do it until I get like you know an averaging of like at least 65. And even then, not done.
Well, don't they say like raids don't count or like there's like a rule for raids of like to add to your number? Is that like
Something
still a
like
thing?
that. You have to like you have to hit refresh.
Mm.
It's really dumb. It's really dumb. Twitch really needs to fucking change that shit because
Oh yeah.
I don't know why it wouldn't count because those are people that are viewing you.
We gotta remember this is the same company that just did the 70 what was it 70-30 split recently where it's like they get more money now from streamers. Like,
Um, it's the 70-30 split thing is
mhm.
where the streamer gets 70 and they get 30, but only until the streamer makes 100K.
Damn,
After
I'm so
100K,
close.
it's back to 50-50.
That doesn't seem as bad as like people are making it out to be, but I don't know. Maybe I'm not looking
It's
into it because
it's big streamer problems. It's not gonna affect anyone like you or me.
I was about to
Like
say I'm like
I wouldn't even know what to do with half of 100K if
I
I made
know
that much in a year.
I was like thinking about that. I'm like, oh damn, this really involves me, Mech. I'm about to hit my 200,000 mark and I'm running out of money.
The only thing that they did recently that affected
Uh,
smaller streamers is
mhm.
instead of the minimum payout of being $100, it's $50. But I don't really think there was anything wrong with $100 payout,
There really isn't. It kind
you
of drove
know?
people to like stream more and stuff like that. Like, I mean, because I see my payouts like off and on, but like those aren't really like the only thing I do with those is that it just gets recycled back into the channel pretty much. Like
Mhm.
really, there's none of it that's like, oh, I need like this amount so I can da da da. Like I've seen people who literally will openly be like, if I don't get this amount, I won't be streaming anymore and da da da. And I'm like, then don't
Mhm.
stream. If you need stuff that bad, don't be streaming.
I think it was a good benchmark to see whether or not, like,
Hmm.
if you should continue doing it as a way to, uh, get any earnings.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And that's the thing, like, that is actually a really good thing to bring up too, because it's like that is really where I think some people will get discouraged because some people will be like, yeah, sure, I'm streaming to like 3 people and da 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 da, but then it's like, oh, when am I gonna make any money from this? Like some people, like that's where they get discouraged if they're not making money from it. But I'm
Yeah.
like,
Since like earlier we were talking about some people, debut thinking that they're gonna get all these viewers and they're gonna, start making money right off the bat. And then it doesn't happen. They go bankrupt. They gotta sell their model. And of course it's a model that they envisioned and no one else is really gonna buy it. And,
I mean, I personally don't
your
even
life
like.
is in the gutter.
I mean, I don't even like the idea of using like a free like 2D live 2D model, like a free use one, because it's like it's not mine. You know what I mean? Like that feels kind of weird. Where
Yeah,
it's like, oh yeah, so there's like my ghost model, and then about like 20 or 30 other people are using the same exact model. So it's like, I don't know why, but it just feels weird because you can't make that like your own thing. Like that's like
yeah, exactly.
that'd
I
be
I heavily discourage using
free models.
well, I don't discourage it if you're just using it for like, shits and giggles. But if you're
Mhm.
literally trying to use it to like cement a brand, then you're setting yourself up for a disaster
Yes.
because, someone else might be trying to do the same thing. I've literally seen people use like the base face rig model,
Hmm.
the raccoon
Oh my
or
gosh, I
like
know
Red Hood
exactly
or
what you're
whatever.
talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, they use that and like they branded their channel around it. And I'm like, what the
But it's
fuck are
not
you
y
doing?
but it's not yours.
And like I don't even know if they're, if they can get sued for that.
They can. Actually, technically they can, because it's even a free use model, if used incorrectly, could lead to something, getting you in trouble if you're like, um if you do like some things the wrong way, like if you kinda claim it as your own or get upset if other people use it kinda thing. Because there has been people who've done that. Like, there's, I think, the people who do the, what is it? Those, like, Valorant and Overwatch models that are free, and then some people use, like, the same exact models, and some people will literally be like, "Stop using this model. This model is used to theme my channel," and da da da, and it's like, "But you don't own the character. It's owned by another company, and then that model itself is owned by another person." So either way, that is not a smart thing to be doing, is to take a copyrighted character and trying to use your whole surroundings like that.
Yeah, it's very unwise.
Very true.
Actually talking about face rig, um I think back in the day,
Mhm,
yeah, I don't know if they'll actually still do. Um, but when I was beginning, I actually first started testing models out in face rig
mhm.
and reading their fine print. They actually want you to have like a premium version of it. Otherwise, they'll come after you and like say, "Hey, you're using our program and like you're making money off of it. You're not allowed to do that."
Oh my god, you just reminded me, there's people who do that with the Doge, or the Doge, the dog one from FaceRig. Like, there's, like,
Hmm.
multiple channels, some even partnered, that actually use that thing from FaceRig. Like, they don't even own that model, and they just use the Doge from FaceRig. So I'm like, he must
As
be
their
paying.
brand.
Yeah, it's their whole brand. Like, I think 3 or 4 channels I've seen where they do that, they have the Doge dog from Face Rig with the glasses or the headset, and I'm like, "They don't even own that model." So they must be paying Face Rig some
Yeah,
good money to be using that.
bad, bad.
Very bad. It's just
Okay, so I bought Face Rig off of Steam when I
yeah.
first had it. Have you ever
Mhm.
went on the site for Face Rig, like the
I
actual website,
I think I did, like, before they went to a Maze Rig or whatever it's called now.
like animes or whatever?
Yeah. No,
So
why
Face Rig,
mhm.
they're like, if you go on their website and you want to buy the program, it is so fucking expensive. It is not fun.
Ooh. Are we talking, like, 4 or 500?
I think for the quote unquote premium
Yeah.
is like 500 or more.
Oh, barf.
It's like, oh, we won't, get you for copyright and you're supposed to be like, incentivized to do this so you can start your career. And it's like, what the, you know?
Yeah,
Oh
I
shit,
mean
Mr. Jess wants barbecue today.
oh, hell yeah. Give me some send me some of that over. Like, drone it to me like they do Amazon packages.
Holy shit.
I
Um,
actually I would love that.
getting back to that, like,
Yeah.
I fear for like my fellow VTubers that use like Pokemon models
Mhm.
because you know, if that's Nintendo. And if you
Oof.
ever get big and they see that you're using, you know, their brand to fucking grow, I'd imagine they'd come after you.
Oh, that's a lawsuit, like, just sitting there for them. If you're
Hmm.
if you don't own that model or their likeness or, like, anything like that, like, that's, like, kinda dangerous. Like, you really, 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 really wanna have your own copyrighted character, like, for yourself. Like, you don't really wanna give out or give up anything because then, like, people will just leech to it as much as possible, and it's really heartbreaking. Because 'Cause I've seen some people do that where they have, like, a free base, and then people just make, like, so many characters off of it and then sell them as adoptables.
Yeah.
So, no, I feel you on that, I really do. Like, I can't imagine seeing, I can't imagine seeing, like, multiple Mackenzies everywhere because 'cause you're like, "Oh, yeah, it's a free model. Look, it's Mackenzie." Like, I can never in a thousand goddamn years ever seeing that, like, different Mackenzies on the channel. Like, you have, like, a Mackenzie that just talks is like
Uh,
it just is
I
like,
you know I've
"Mm."
seen I've seen a rise in classic cartoon VTubers since I've started.
Same with bunnies. I've seen a lot more, actual bunnies, not people with bunny ears, which has been pretty poggers.
Mhm.
I do like because like, that's actually
It
why I
kind of
made
makes me feel good. Like
but
I'm not gonna say I'm the biggest like classic cartoon VTuber. I think that one would go to Pumpkin Potion.
yeah, I was
Even
just
even Heavens to Betsy has like a bigger follower count than I do. I feel I'm the true zany one
Animini, if you
because
will.
they're very laid back. Yeah,
Mhm.
and I didn't even make Mackenzie uh, in regards to them. I just made Mackenzie with complete ignorance that they existed at all.
I was gonna say, didn't you say, like, you literally streamed out of, um I can't
Spite?
remember. Spite, yeah.
Yeah,
Was that
yeah.
related to it?
Well, Mr. Jess, it was all like, oh, I heard that VTubing was expensive, so like, oh yeah, like kind of to myself, not
Oh.
to him, but yeah, that's sort of why I did it. So I kind of wanted to prove him wrong and prove to myself that like, it's not super expensive. Um, me, VTubing as Mackenzie was just like, I want to make one of my favorite D&D characters animated,
Mhm.
and I was actually kind of worried. Um, while rigging Mackenzie 1.0 because I thought Live 2D was like mostly tailored to like anime designs, and I didn't know if you would actually be able to do something like Mackenzie in Live 2D. But I figured out like, oh, I can do pretty much anything given the right techniques. Uh, and it's just sort of like a joke that a little bit antagonistic towards the VTubing community because like 80% of VTubers are like your typical anime, you know, or like Japanese inspired type of artwork. And here I am, like 1920s fucking Western American style.
Ooh, and then I can actually see that though. I can actually kind of see that in the like kind of like how everything is too. Because like
Hmm.
I don't really have any ideas or want for like Lime to go 3D or anything like that. Because I like the whole cartoon s feel of like animations and stuff like that. Like I am a big cartoon nerd. Like so like I would rather see everything in 2D rather than 3D. Like for like pretty much anything. Like sometimes 3D works for certain
Right.
shows or movies, but like I don't know. I'm just a sucker for 2D though. I guess I'm a little nerdy in that sense.
I love to. There's nothing wrong with 3D. I
Nope.
remember when there was, maybe there still is, like the whole um, yeah, people's feelings towards like what's better, 2D or 3D.
I mean,
I
even
think it's really dependent on how a model's rigged, not whether or not it's 2D or 3D.
I mean, it's the same thing with PNG tubers. They get probably the biggest shit on I think I've ever seen in a community where people are like, "Oh, they're a
Hmm.
PNG tuber, so they don't count or they can't be in the VTuber community." And I'm just like, they're still animated in their own way. Like there's like one person I think called like Snake or something or like Snake Please or I can't remember their name, but they were literally I think even
Is
still
it little s?
yeah, they were a PNG tuber for like the longest time. Even
Oh
I
yeah,
think
and they
even
had
now they still
partner.
do. So it's like,
I don't know if there's. Did they still stream?
ah,
Because
I thought
they self destructed big time.
did they screw up and I just didn't hear about it? Or did they do something?
He literally like threatened the lives of his own community members and moderators.
Oh my god, that's kind of a
Yeah,
bombshell.
yeah. And at first, I thought it was just like a cool little snake guy on Twitch. But then after that incident,
Oh
big
my
yikes,
god.
big yikes. And
Oh.
I used to tell Teeny, I'm like, you're gonna be like the next little S, because at the time I didn't know little S was that person. Um, but it was sort of my way to say like, I think Teeny does a good amount of stuff, even with PNG stuff. Of course, now he's got a live 2D. I'm really happy for him. And he's
Mhm,
told me no, like I don't mind. Like I really like my PNG. I always wanted to like have a live 2D. And he knows that there's nothing wrong with being a PNG tuber. And I haven't, I've never been a PNG tuber. But
mhm,
there is that stigma. Like with 3D models, you see a lot of Vroid, and I think the reason why that gets shit on a lot is because a lot of Vroid models are sort of like samey. You see like a lot of the base, and
yeah,
then people just put different shit on. And if you want to start out as a Vroid, that's fine. But if you actually want to grow and you see that you're doing well, it's probably a good idea to invest in a more unique looking 3D model, something that's more tailored,
mhm,
uh, you know, something that's not like anything. And that's that's some of the biggest appeal to live 2D models is like when you when you draw something,
mhm,
every person mostly has a different way of drawing something. So you're like 95% likely to get something that looks much different than the next 2D model.
mhm.
You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So they get something that's more like made for them. Granted, there's a bunch of anime models out there, but not every one of them looks alike. You might have like an artist out there that makes a lot of models. So
I
you might
still
recognize how some eye shapes are.
Mhm.
or stuff like that. But
Mhm.
design wise, they're gonna look distinct, a lot more distinct
Mhm.
than like seeing a bunch of Vroid models stuck together. That's not to say that Vroid can't make um, a unique model, but you kind of have to go really deep into like how to change models in that program.
I
And
think
with PNG with PNG tubing,
mhm.
I guess there's also a stigma of like, it's just a still image, and you didn't really invest too much into it. Um, it's I would say it's hard. It's hard to have to try to live past that, and you do have to at least make other aspects of your channel stand out and
I do think that, like
exemplify that
mhm.
PNG. You have to exemplify it,
It's kinda like
really
Party Cat.
accentuate
Like,
it.
Party Cat, if you notice, like, how they do theirs, it's like,
Oh yeah, they use a
um
combination of VideoTube and like they're like GIFs.
it is, and that's what I like too. It's still PNG where they don't have to use a webcam, but they
The
can
thing I
add,
like
like,
about
different
Party
motion
Cat
stuff.
is that's a unique way of doing it. Like
Exactly.
that's like Party Cat and Teeny, I think, are the two um like quote unquote PNG slash GIF tubers
Mhm.
that is that should be sort of like the standard. Also, what's his
Mhm.
name? Crazy Bones, like
Yeah,
the
Crazy
eyebrows
Bones does
guy.
the same thing. Crazy Bones is, also, like, more PNG based,
Yeah.
where they just kinda do that, like I said, even for me, I basically am 2 pictures where I'm mouth closed, mouth open, but, like, it's basic and it's just I'm happy it's there, you know what I mean? Like, I don't
Mhm.
really have the want at the moment. In the future, thumbs up, absolutely, but, for, like, right now, it works perfectly, and that's why I tell people, I'm like, "Before you invest in a live 2D or get too much money or too deep into anything, get a PNG model." They're like 10, 20 bucks depending on the
Mhm.
artist. Like, it's awesome. You get 2 emotions, and you can kinda see where you like it. If you like it, go to Live 2D, try a 3D model, or hell, even yeah, like you said, go a little bit fun with the PNG, get some emotions, get some clothes, like, go crazy with it. It's great.
Yeah.
Uh,
It's really disheartening to when people do invest like over 1,000 live 3D model and they they lack uh, faith in their ability to become a streamer.
exactly.
And I have to tell them, like, just because you don't have the immediate numbers to show for your investment doesn't mean, um, you know, that you're not capable. It takes time.
I tell people it's like
Why would you think you're not capable if you
mhm,
invested that much into yourself? You know, a whole like 1K or more, just just to have something for people to look at when you stream a game. That's a lot more than like your average cam streamer. You know, they get
exactly.
they get a camera and then have themselves in the corner of the screen, and that's it. As opposed to someone who's just starting out to VTubing, even if they're a novice, like 500 or like $1,000 invested purely just for the fucking avatar is
Holy shit.
no joke. That is not a small investment. And they should feel, at least some pride knowing that, they've invested a lot more than the average person for streaming,
And I
even
tell
if
people
it's just a fucking hobby.
why do I feel like the first, I would say it's, like, not even the first month of, like, streaming. I feel like it's your first, like, 6 months to a year where you really see, like, if this is gonna be your thing or not. Because 'Cause I've noticed more people have, like, who actually went in for the long haul really didn't quit within the first few months, like, they really saw, like, the half year mark and they're like, "Okay, am I doing good? Do I need to change some stuff?" And stuff like that, because that's kinda how I did with Lime, that's why I got, like, a new model, like, halfway through everything, and then I started enjoying it more, and then it's like, I'm kinda getting bored, let me try something else," and then I got my watercolors PNG, and after that, I went right back to streaming and loving everything. it's like I feel like your first like half a year is like really where you see the progress or like if it's really going well for you kind of thing.
Yeah, I would also agree. For I'd say like that. Yeah, the for first year, I've done some math. If
Mhm.
you're able to, if you're able to like get around 2% of your follower base as concurrent viewers for, you're able to reach that number at any point during your stream, then you're doing great. Like that's a
Exactly.
great number.
Like I've seen people literally start and then like let's say they started last year around this time and like I've looked at their Twitter and like their profile and stuff and they'll literally be at like over 1,000 people on Twitter, good numbers on Twitch and stuff like that and it's cuz they kind of took that half a year mark. If you go to like where they are like half the year, you can see they started revamping stuff, changing stuff up and like trying out certain games and stuff. Like they kind of had that like breakthrough where they're like, okay, so everything's going good, but I could use some different things to kind of spice things up. And I think
That was me.
that was you. I was gonna
That
say
was
that had to
me.
have been you. They could have swore it was like you or somebody. Somebody kind of had that like light bulb turning on.
I just started doing it for fun. I started getting a little bit of a following. I rated Pappy one day with my massive 12 viewers. He's like, "Oh, I think I recognize you from Twitter. Oh, yeah, you're really like your model. Huh, you do it yourself?" And one day, he fucking secretly had a watch party of my fucking stream. I didn't know.
Oh wow.
And that was actually my favorite stream. Not because he entered
Mhm.
stream, but because my community was like lifting me up so high and just putting me on this pedestal in front of them. It was really embarrassing, but
I
uh,
feel I mean like
that I kind of felt that moment
Mhm.
of like, wow, I'm getting supported, and Pappy, uh, I'll never forget. He says like, I think you have the right chops for this, and hearing that from him, really like the next day when I was working at Mickey D's on my break, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna see what I can do if I push the limit. Like, I'm still gonna do this for a hobby, but I want to see just how well I can do this as a hobby. Because I, when I
Mhm.
first started VTubing, I went for like, I had to look at references. I looked at like Corone, Gargura, and I'm like, okay, what do they got? They have model screen. They don't even need or use an overlay most of the time. Uh,
Mhm.
they don't hardly talk that much. And I'm like, you know, I'm funny. I could be interesting.
I'm
I could be
funny.
way more interesting than these fucks. I'm gonna do better than fucking them. And then yeah, it's like, I'm gonna have me exploding. I can do that in OBS. And, I just use my creativity, and people loved it. Like 300 for fucking 300 points for me drinking water. Nah, you can spam like fucking sounds for 30 points or something. You do that 10 times the moment you fucking enter stream, you know? And there was just so many things. I was like, why aren't people doing this? Um, and I just went full force after the Pappy stream, as I like to call it. And um, I won't say any numbers, but
Mhm.
I started getting nice payouts from Twitch, and I was thinking hard about it,
It's like, yeah, the
and I
Moonhow
was
is running it. Yeah.
it felt nice to be able to get
Yeah.
um, paid that well for something I love to do and for something that people like to see me do. And I could look at it and I was like, I am growing. I am growing. Like each payout is getting better, and if it continues like this, then I can leave McDonald's and I can start going down this path. Granted, I saved a good amount of money, and that's another thing. I saved a good amount of money to where if this VTubing shtick didn't work out the way I did,
Hmm.
I'd be able to at least do it for a year, and then I'd go back to Mickey D's or something.
I mean, hey, at least you're.
I had a plan B. I had a plan B.
Heck yeah. I mean,
Uh,
at least it's still good to
yeah.
have that though. I mean, it's a good feeling.
Oh yeah. That I first I started animating stuff, and I was getting paid for like making some models. I was like, I could do this on the side, and then you know people toss money at me for streaming with my own avatar. I'm like, wow, I'm doing the thing. I'm doing the thing that I always wanted to do, and like that still blows my mind to this day.
I
If I
love
were to
it.
go back in time and say, hey Meg, you're gonna be a Twitch streamer person, and you're gonna be this fucking robotic demonic cartoon girl, and that's gonna be your life. I
I
I
that'll
probably wouldn't have believed myself.
I'm gonna do the same thing to my past self and just be like, "Bro, what? Bunny." And then, like, disappear and be like, "Bunny." Like
It's funny because Mackenzie, like
uh-huh.
if I had my way, Mackenzie probably wouldn't have been the thing I went with for a
Really?
VTuber model. If I knew VTubing was going to be a thing
Uh-huh.
when I was younger, um, it probably wouldn't have been Mackenzie. I
What
I
was it?
really like I
Uh-huh.
really really like hooded designs, like a Jawa from Star Wars, like anything that looks like that, like Vivi from Final Fantasy IX. I
Mhm.
probably would have went for something like that because I love glowy eyed people with like you can't really see their face.
Would you let's say Mech never existed. What kind of character right now would you have, like, kind of thought of or pondered, if Mech didn't exist?
It would have been a hooded character, just
Kind
like Vivi from Final Fantasy IX.
that is actually kinda cool. Now I'm kinda curious to see the alternative universe, Mackenzie. That is actually kind of a good thought bubble now. I like that
Speaking
though.
of alternate universes,
Yes.
fucking the I think you've heard this story before. My
Mhm.
butterfly effect story.
Actually, I'd love for to share it with everyone.
Okay. Well, okay, so the whole reason, uh, I would say like the most important day that sort of led to me being a VTuber.
Mhm.
So for starters, um, if I had not started playing Dungeons and Dragons a couple years back, Mackenzie would have never been designed,
Mhm.
since that's where she comes from. The whole reason I played D&D is because I got interested in tabletop RPGs to begin with.
Mhm.
And that happened because of a singular event. One day, when I was uh when I was fresh out of high school and didn't want to do shit with my life, um, because I was tired of having to endure 12 years of torture, I woke up and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna play my favorite MMO, Maple Story. And as per usual, I got some breakfast, went to my computer, and I noticed my internet wasn't working that day. I was like, damn, what the fuck am I gonna do all day?
Mhm.
And Mr. Jest, who was living with me at the time,
Mhm.
said, hey, well, just come to my house. And, or no, not my house. I'm going to go to a friend's house. We're going to play some tabletop RPGs over there. You can just use their internet. And I was like, man, fucking tabletop RPG shit. That shit's fucking lame. Fucking, I'm a nerd, but I'm not that much of a nerd. But fine, whatever. I'll use their internet because I wanna do my MMO dailies. And I did my MMO dailies, and I was watching them play. I was like, you know what? You guys are doing it wrong. you need a charisma-based character, obviously. And that's the story of how I got interested into like tabletop stuff.
That's
And
amazing.
none of that would have happened. None of that would have happened if my internet had been working that day.
It's so weird to think about. That is like
Yeah,
it
it's like
is.
God pulled the plug on my internet so that things would kind of like go into place. And
You
I'm super thankful that that happened because I wouldn't be here. I'd be doing something entirely different if that was the case.
I just imagine that now where it's like, "Oh, yeah, that was a good stream. Have you ever thought of being like a cartoon robot anime girl at some point?" And you just been like, "The fuck, are you high? What?"
Mm,
Oh my god, the butterf that is just I don't know why, but that just fascinates me. Just to think of what's like line of thoughts would have happened if the internet was still working. You know what I mean? Like I kinda now wanna see.
I probably would have spent hours grinding, leveling up on monsters, and probably just still work at McDonald's.
I think for me, if I didn't make Lime, I think the only thing that would have been different would be that I'd be, grinding out, music still. Like, I think I still would have been invested into bands or, like, I probably would have tried to move to, like, a big city, like a big city, and just go fill in, like, music work out there, but I don't think I would have been as happy since I'm like, music's more fun for me now, and, like, I don't want it to be a job because there's a lot of, issues with the music industry right now, and, like, I
Mhm.
think that I don't think I would have been as happy as I am right now, just kinda VTubing and, working a little bit on the side too. So it's, like, kinda like that perfect zen balance of, like, I work a little bit, I come home, I play video games, I make stuff for Lime, I go to sleep. Other people are happy because I'm making podcasts and streams. So I'm making that little dent in the world, and that's kinda cool. You know? It's really nice. It's a good
That's
feeling.
sort of why I wanted to become
Uh-huh.
a professional artist, just to make my mark.
It
Uh,
is, it feels good.
in the back of my mind, I
Mhm.
always, you know, the whole like, oh, being a content creator and like playing video games for my job would be fucking epic and super easy, right?
Mhm. And
And I think a lot of YouTubers, they probably have that same mindset of like, I'm gonna be this lovable fucking character online, and I just do shit on stream, and I'm gonna have so much fun, and none of it's gonna feel like work.
that's how I feel too when it comes
But
to,
let me tell you something.
go ahead.
When you quit your job, and then you have to do this full force,
Uh-huh.
it it is it is just like any other job. It honestly is. You have to work so hard, and it's even more risky. Like I took the ultimate risk leaving
Mhm.
McDonald's because there's a chance that this was never ever going to work, and the only way it
Exactly.
was going to work is if I went full throttle. And when you go full throttle into VTubing, it's not just you know you're at a computer desk and you're just you know mashing a controller and saying goofy shit. Like,
Mhm.
you have to find some way to entertain people. Whether or not that's like you're being funny or you're being comforting or, um, you play music or, something to satisfy other people's senses. There's the pressure to do that. And there's also, like making your own schedule. If you might have to buy assets for the stream, like artwork, or, if you're a VTuber, maybe getting a new model. If you have a great model already, cool, but sometimes people like staring at a different version of you, so you have to spice things up.
Exactly.
And, there's the fight for, staying relevant or like, playing things that just make you happy or people want to see you play something that you might not necessarily have on your mind. Um, and for Twitch, like I don't want to rely entirely on Twitch payouts. It would be nice if I could reach that. I think I might be on the way to do that, but I also want to expand into, making more merch, um, doing more commissions for making models for people,
Mhm.
just doing artist work for people. And it's now being a content creator has become this like this full-time job for me. And it's not as simple as some people fantasize as making it out to be, you
Oh
know.
yeah, and I definitely feel that too, because like a lot of people have asked me too, like who was like the reason why I'm VTubing or making content, da da da. And I'm like, literally, believe it or not, it wasn't a VTuber. It was Super Mega. If you remember, they worked on Markiplier and Game Grumps and stuff as editors,
Yeah,
and then
super
they made their
mega.
own thing. And literally, they're like
Super
Matt and
mega.
Ryan. Is that
Lord have
Super
mercy.
Mega? I literally bought their book. I have their book and merch. So like, and I listen to their podcast every fucking week religiously.
I'm
Like,
kind of ashamed I don't have like Game Grumps merch as much as I love them. That's my dream as a content creator, is to have some type of interaction with the Grumps, because they really shaped my life. And
that. Mhm.
I can kind of relate to Aaron,
Mhm.
since well, he didn't I don't know if he graduated from high school all the way, but I think he dropped out or something like that, and
Mhm.
he just wanted to do his content. Of course, I didn't do that until I quit McDonald's 8 years after working for. But
Mhm.
I can kind of see where he's coming as, like,
And
I
I
can
feel.
I can sort of feel it from him, where, like, creation became not so much of like just a fun little hobby, but it became work. It became like, it consumed him.
And that's.
Not in a bad way. Like, I love being a VTuber, and I wouldn't trade it for anything else in the world. Um, but it has come to the point where
Mhm.
it doesn't feel like a fun hobby anymore. It feels like a job. The only
Mhm.
difference being, the only one that can stress me out is myself, and not like
Mhm.
having a boss or coworker.
And like.
And at the same time,
Mhm.
it's a labor of love. I love making art and models and streaming and making people laugh. I don't feel like it's something that I'm pressured to do, or I feel like I can always meet that expectation out of people,
Mhm.
but it is a job. It turns into a job. To anyone listening to this, if you want to become a VTuber, you'll start out as doing it as a hobby. You'll end up with it as a job.
And it's like, and to me, for anybody wanting to be a VTuber, don't do it. It's a trap. Don't do it. Don't do it. I'm just kidding. Don't do
No,
it.
no, no, it's not a trap, but it's
No, it's fun though. It's
it's a
just
lot
pace
more
yourself. That's all I can
it's
say.
a lot more intuitive and involving than one might think.
Exactly. Like, that's honestly the only thing I can say for VTubing. If someone wants to get into it, have fun with it and pace yourself. Don't expect anything right out the gate. Everything takes
Exactly.
time. So, but with that though, I think this is a great stopping point. Though I've had honestly the absolute most fucking blast with you today. So thank you so much for being on.
No problem. This was really cool.
Where can people find you?
Well, you can follow me on the Twizzler.com. That's at Enzy Mech. I don't know why it switched the Mech and Enzy in places, but that's
Mhm.
that's where you can find me. You can also find me on twitch.tv/Mech Enzy.
Excellent. I think to close this up, I think Kwanzo, can you put in some funny sound effects, some like cartoon sound effects, or actually, if not, just end it with a fart reverb.mp4. Okay, that's always a good one. All right,
Oh my
everyone,
god.
have a good one, everyone.
Bye bye.